Good morning, good morning, good morning. I imagine will join us here. Oh my gosh, 8 people. That was so fast. Um, Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 27th. Did I even title this video right? I hope I did. It's been a week. It's been a long week. But I've got coffee, so let's chat. A lot to go over today. Let me figure out how to manage my windows in a better way. In addition to the chat, please remember on the website there is a link off to the side that has a Google Doc, and that Google Doc will allow me to answer questions for anybody who can't interact in the actual YouTube chat here. So your video is blocked on the WCPSS laptop. What? That seems weird. The good news is most parents aren't on WC. Oh, is it the kid's laptop? Let me see if I can do a weird. Ooh, watching myself live is very strange, so we're not going to do that. Channel approved for. It is approved. It shouldn't be blocked, Mr. Kane. I'll have to look into that. That is beyond my skill set, I think. Alrighty. Oh, some good questions. Those are all pretty old. Is this the current working one? It's not. No, I got to find it. So good morning to everybody. We're going to go over some ACT stuff today, as well as some information for juniors and seniors. Sophomores, again, you're always reminded that it is the time of year to consider the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email me or to email Mr. Barron, lbarron at wcpss.net. Also, as we get close to registration time, you'll hear more about that, as well as the College and Career Promise Program through. Yeah, see, I'm with you. I knew you were going to put it up there, Mr. Kane. I knew you were going to put it there. So don't hate. I'm trying to get ahead of it. What I can't find is the form that I made. There it is. Midweek updates. All right, so I do have the midweek updates form open. So if you ask a question there, I will see it. And now that I have that ready to go, we can, in earnest, start talking about some stuff. So first of all, let me go pull up the weekly message. The first thing that we want to talk about is the ACT. The ACT is going to be given to all juniors only. It is scheduled for February 23rd. Not sure. Okay. If it's not better in a minute, let me know. I did a lot of work on the computer, and now I think it might be a computer speaking to camera setting issue. So apologies. I'll try to speak a little bit slower so that if the connection is bad, you'll still be able to get the big parts. So the ACT is going to be on February 23rd. It is for juniors only. And you need to sign up if you're going to take it, which is a little bit different. Normally, we order a test for every junior. We plan on it in the building, and we give it. There is a form in the weekly message. I will put it in the chat right now that students need to fill out if they're going to participate. And that's important because students have to be logged into Wake ID and in their Google Drive before this form will open for them. Then there is a, no, that's for EOC and CTE makeup stuff. So for the ACT, you need to sign up for participation by this Friday. So that's 2 days from now. So tell your friends. I guess I should probably put out an email blast and some other stuff here shortly to remind everyone. I'm glad to hear that the lag is better on your phone. That seems strange to me. Okay, next up, let me go pull up these things that people were kind enough to email me. We talked about ACT signups. So juniors, to continue the process, we're of talking about what your life looks like after high school. Counselors are going to continue jumping into English classes. They already did first semester English classes earlier this year, but the week of February 8th through February 12th, counselors will be going into your students' English class. So parents, if you're hearing this, like, make sure your kids are aware, hey, this week in your class, counselors are going to come talk about all kinds of things, applying for college, financial aid, all these things. It's a really critical time to pay attention. We also have junior parent night coming up on February the 11th. That will be at 6:30. It will be a virtual event, as is everything these days. Womp womp. And this is sort of, it's concurrent to the work they're doing with juniors, and they expand upon what they do with juniors, and they talk about the parents' role in that and how families can prepare. They'll talk about the college application process, and there will also be some college reps available in breakout rooms from 4-year schools, from 2-year schools, so parents can jump in and ask questions and talk to them about the process for those specific places. We'll also have a military recruiter or two to talk about financial aid opportunities, as well as opportunities for careers in the military. And again, it'll be virtual and it'll happen through a variety of breakout rooms and whatnot. All righty. So I think that's it for the really big announcements. Juniors, seniors, fill out your FAFSA. Do it. There's going to be some more information coming out to parents soon with just some updates and reminders, but definitely make sure you get the FAFSA knocked out. Okay. So now some questions. Let me pull up this document. Again, if you're watching this and you can't interact in the chat, if you go to the Millbrook website under, is it upcoming events or information? I can't remember. I changed it recently. Changing it too much. It's the events and info section. Normally, if you're on a computer, it'll load right next to the video that's on the front page. It's the YouTube Live questions form. Feel free to ask any questions you have there. I'm going to start with questions in the chat. So when is registration time? I can tell you that we're about to review registration timelines with our department chairs this coming Monday. I anticipate we will start registering students in earnest by the middle of February or end of February, but it is coming very soon. Does the administration at Millbrook feel like we will ever get back to the classroom this year, and will WCPSS let us back in school next year? Those are questions we ask ourselves all the time. I certainly have feelings and can posit guesses. I think it's probably irresponsible of me in this forum to say what I think, because it's literally just what I think, but in this forum that carries a little bit different weight. I would tell everybody the board meeting next Tuesday on the 2nd. They'll be discussing that again, what's going to happen moving forward. So you can watch that on YouTube in real time as well. They don't do a chat feature, sadly, but maybe not sadly. But the board meeting will be on Tuesday. We will obviously discuss the impact of that on Wednesday following the board meeting. But I don't know. And it's hard. My daughter starts kindergarten next year. I obviously hope for a traditional kindergarten experience, but I'm in this weird spot where I know why my teachers don't want, why they don't feel safe in some situations. I know what anxieties I have and other people have, and there's just a lot. And I will continue to encourage everyone to realize this isn't solved by the school system. Like, we are in a situation that is much larger than a school system issue. And unfortunately, a lot of the dialogue centers around them making these, this decision like it's going to make or break everything, and it's not. It's going to be hard. until this vaccine rollout happens in a real meaningful way and we start knowing many of our friends and family that have gotten it. And until then, I think we're all still in the same tough spot we've been in. It's hard to sit here and realize that we're 4.5 weeks away from March again. Is there a Meet the Teacher night? Yes, there is. And it is on February the 3rd. So next Wednesday at 6:30, I believe. Let me triple check that that's on the calendar. I'm 99% sure it is, but can't be too careful. Yes, spring open house, Meet the Teacher, although it's not. Yes, it's on here. It's 6 to 8. I think the times might change. I might need to edit that, but we will have an open house. You'll be able to go from class to class and have a brief interaction with all your teachers. We'll get more information out about that very early next week. And I will certainly recap that in the Sunday message for sure. That's a really great question. Let me see what's on the calendar on February 4th. Boosters, faculty. So I think on the student master calendar, which should be on the website, it should be on February 3rd. Let us confirm so that we can all just know. I know the event is on February 3rd. Can guarantee that. February 3rd. Yeah, so on the calendar on the website, you'll see at 6 p.m. spring open house on February the 3rd. I have junior parent night down as February 4th. It's on the 11th. It got moved. I can't tell you when that got moved, but I remember editing that one myself. So junior parent night is February the 11th for sure. My child needs a Chromebook for her class for a special software. Do I request one from her teacher? A Chromebook for software. Can you email me directly, please? cpatton2, CPATTON2, and give me some more details. I, at the very least, can send your email to the right person. But in many ways, if your student needs a Chromebook, that's going to go through me anyway. So let's start at the top. Send me an email. We'll certainly get working on that right now. If we end up going back to campus, can my Plan B students switch back to virtual for the rest of the semester? At this point, I believe it's too late, mainly because it would require them to change their entire schedule. And there are some classes they might have that might not be available in Virtual Academy. And in the middle of a semester, that would be pretty impossible. So I know that's not the answer that you were probably hoping for, but I believe that at this point, it is too late to switch if we go back to Plan B. Is there any way to get a weekly asynchronous day back? So that is a district level decision. I don't believe you'd hear any complaints from teachers. So my recommendation is, if you feel really strongly about weekly asynchronous days, I would email, if Millbrook is your base school, then definitely you can email Roxy Cash is the board member, Dr. Cash. You can also email the chair, Mr. Sutton, or the vice chair, Ms. Mahaffey, just to express that. You can sign up for public comment and say, hey, these asynchronous days are really great. And as long as we're not in Plan B, having those weekly would be good. But that's going to be a decision that sort of rests with them, with the district level leadership as well. But I don't think schools are going to be given the leeway to make that decision. Will there be vaccination requirements at school? So interestingly enough, there are certain immunization requirements for school that were new this year, that were put into law 2 years ago, maybe. And you remember us talking about it a few months ago with the seniors having to have their meningitis vaccine proof submitted. That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. Again, you can sort of zoom out a little bit and realize that a vaccination requirement at school would require conversation about vaccination requirements in other places publicly as well. So that's very much outside of my scope as a site-based administrator. I think we have a precedent for us collecting certain immunization records. So I could see it happening, but I could also see the availability and the privacy and all those things, right? It took 2 years for us to require the meningitis immunizations. Um, so I don't know what a timeline for that would look like. That honestly, that's probably a state level, maybe a district level, but maybe a state level when it comes to health requirements in a building. Okay, that helps. I can start chewing on the computer. Let me check the. It doesn't appear that anybody's asked anything on the Google Doc. Alrighty. So it's 8:45. It's a busy week. I'm going to go ahead and do an early last call for questions. And while I wait for any last minute questions to drop in, a request. This has been a really powerful tool. Again, we've mentioned how much what we hear from parents here in the chat has been able to inform our decision making on the very, very front end so that we can communicate clearly and make decisions effectively. So we're really going to try and grow this presence on YouTube. If you could maybe invite a friend next week, I'd love to see us back around 75 or 80 every week. I realize the information is less exciting and less pertinent in some cases. You know, when we were doing Virtual Academy and people had to make that really hard decision, obviously, like this was one of the better ways to get information about that. But I think in this space that we're in now, connecting via video is going to help us break down some barriers that might have happened in the past, right? Like 3 years ago, if we had tried to do a morning meeting like this, many of you wouldn't be able to come to school to have an in-person meeting. But this is different because you can watch it while you're driving in the car. You can watch it just before you get to work, or if you're working from home, maybe you can watch it there. So this is a platform that I think will continue. And I think at this point, I have to ask for some help to grow that. Millbrook has a really, really strong resource in word of mouth communication that not all schools, and specifically not all magnet schools, have, because magnet schools draw from such a large geographic area. So just a plea, tell your friends about it. And then if you have a minute and can tell me, provide some feedback, feel free to email me on, yeah, it's actually really easy to find on YouTube now, or it's still kind of tricky and I have to wait for the link on Twitter. From my end, I don't really know how that feels and I could use some feedback. Mr. Kane, I know you're there, so I'd love to chat with you about your experience in terms of finding this on YouTube. Alrighty, if they can't switch from Plan B to virtual, can they just continue to do the same classes, but from home, just the same as 2 of the 3 cohorts will be attending? This is going to be me stepping to the side and not really answering that question. I believe that in Plan B, the attendance requirements are the same in that students are either present for class, or they have communication with teacher, or they submit assignments for that day. That's all I can say about that, but I will work on getting a more direct and concrete answer for next week. That's a really good question. Oh yeah, we got it sent to students. It took a minute, but we did get the weekly message sent to students. The district won't allow me, only principals can email the student body. And so because I do all the coordinating of this, I can't send emails from Ms. King's account. So we had to find a workaround. And the only thing about that workaround is I have to download the email list and upload it into the school messenger platform. And I have to figure out how many kids drop and add into our database every week. Like, do I have to rebuild that list every week or not? But yeah, I'm glad that your students got it. That is outstanding to hear. We're actually going to start, I think I'm going to work on formatting a little bit differently for like student focused announcements and family focused announcements for sure. Okay. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. A last note, and I talked to Ms. King about this earlier, and she highly recommended. So here at Millbrook, we strive to respond to all parent inquiries, phone or email, teachers, administration, other office staff. We strive to respond in 24 hours. If it takes longer than 48 hours, that's a problem. So if you are asking questions to somebody and you're not getting answers in that 48-hour window, please reach out to your administrator. And if you feel like that's not enough, always feel free to CC Ms. King. Although, shout out to Ms. King, her email is insane right now. So yes, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be safe out there. Holy cow, next time I see you, it's going to be February of 2021 already. The next time I see you, there will have been a board meeting with some interesting information. When can we pick up report cards? Final grades are in Power School. They should be there right now. I'm not sure if you can see Q3 yet. I don't know if we flipped the switch on Q3 going live. Maybe by the time the show is over, that will have happened for sure. They were working on some last minute details, but printing report cards is going to take a minute. We've got some technical stuff going on. As soon as we have those available, I'll probably send out just a brief school messenger text like, hey, if you'd like to pick up your report card, they're available in the at the guest services window. But we don't have those yet. I don't think we'll have those by the end of this week. It might be next week's midweek updates before I can say, here's how you pick up your report card. But I can tell you the grades in Power School for final grades for final grades for semester 1 are correct. That was a great question. Thank you. Semester 1 grades are not there yet. Fascinating. Let me go look. My understanding, and I spoke to Ms. Midget about this morning, is they're working to finalize a thing, and they're going to flip the switch on something this morning at like 9 or 9:30. So I would check again at lunch and see if that's changed. If it hasn't, email your administrator and ask for an update. What about student transcripts? In general, if you need a formal transcript, we recommend requesting those online. It'll get printed and mailed to you. If you need let's see, an informal, what's it called? Verified, unverified. I can't remember what the term is. It's not a hard word, but you can probably email your counselor and see if they can send you a PDF. That one won't be signed or anything like that. So if you need an official, transcript, there's an online order. How do we figure the test grade out into their final grade? It depends, and I wouldn't, in some cases, thanks, Mr. Kane. I appreciate you. Again, that might depend on class, but you should look for an F1 grade, and the F1 grade will have the calculation. So what happens is you should see a couple grades in Power School. You'll see Q1, Q2, S1, F1. So that's Q1, Q2. Those factor into a semester grade. Then there's the E, which is the exam, and then the semester and exam factor into the final grade. But if you look at the F1 grade for final grade, that should be the final grade with all the calculations done. All righty. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. I think I've remembered everything at this point. If anybody's watching any great TV, let me know next week. Cheers. Y'all be safe out there. Thank you so much.